Okay, and we are live. Trying a little bit of a different setup this time, but you know, probably won't notice all that much of a difference. Well, except except you'll be able to see a little bit of my setup in camera number 2. As promised, tonight I am playing a couple of PS Move games, and I'll also be playing a couple of PS4 camera-based games, or at least games that take advantage of them. I'll be starting with The Book of Spells, which is a Harry Potter-themed game that uses the sadly ill-fated Wonderbook accessory for the PlayStation Move. This thing was cool. It was, a little bit more action, or a little bit more augmented reality than a lot of their other options. And you can see as I'm moving this around that it's being tracked in the game as well. And that's part of how this works, is that the camera sees the pattern on the book, and it's using that to track the image and overlay the image of the book. I can turn it around, and it tracks this image just as well. Then when you open it up, all you would normally see here are, you can see it here. They're just random shapes. In game, these are the pages of the book. And, you'll be able to see that in a little bit as well. But I wanted to show you what it actually looked like before we took a look into the Book of Spells itself. I love this. But like I said, it really didn't get much play. There was another game that came up. I don't even know if it actually ended up releasing, but there's a Book of Potions that was supposed to come out. I'll have to see if it did actually release. And there were a couple of other games that they were talking about that would support this, but I don't think either one of those ever actually made it to the shelves. This I picked up book, game, everything, book and game for $8 on clearance at Best Buy about 3 years ago, I want to say. So yeah, it failed quickly, but I have really enjoyed it. I don't play this very often, but you know what? Now that I've found out that I can actually sit on my recliner, have the book on the leg of the recliner, and just kind of sit cross-legged on the recliner. This is actually really comfy because I don't have to sit on the floor. Another thing about this is when it originally came out, it would connect to the Pottermore website. Unfortunately, is no longer able to do that anymore. They must have taken down the APIs or whatever was allowing it to connect, because I tried it earlier and it wouldn't update. You could actually earn points for your house on Pottermore by completing parts of this book. It would also connect to Pottermore to pull down your information on which house you had been sorted into and which wand had chosen you. So you would be able to get that information imported into this game, and it changes things very, very slightly. He'll comment on how I'm a Ravenclaw. The in-game wand that you'll see shortly mimics the wand that I was that had chosen me at the beginning of Pottermore. it still has that information in the save data. So I honestly don't know how it handles that when you can't go through Pottermore. Maybe it's something where you just pick it yourself. I don't know. But, you know, it's definitely an additional bit of immersion. Like, this whole thing is about immersion. Because you're reading the book, you're learning about these spells, you're actually casting the spells, you're verbalizing the spells. Yes, sometimes you do actually have to shout stuff like Incendio as you cast a spell. So it's a lot of fun though. But that's also why I don't play it very often, because I feel a little silly. But so yes, anyhow, on to the Book of Spells. And there's my portrait. You can see it moving slightly. It's one of those moving portraits from Harry Potter. Taken a couple of years ago, but hey, it still look mostly the same. I'm going to go on to the next chapter that I have yet to unlock, so that's Chapter 4, Part 1. So, here you go. You can see my wand on screen. Fortunately...
Open your book. There's things left to do in this chapter.
I'm quite aware of that. Fortunately, it's... You know, fortunately, it's kind of dark. So you don't see a lot of detail, but that's good because then you don't see my camera, and my microphone and my laptop and all of that very well. But you can kind of see me making my motions and the book itself, which you can see is, you know, you can see the front of it.
You've made a start.
Do that here. Yep. Oh, it's zooming in. Very
Open
nice.
Your book. There's things left to do in this chapter.
I'm not ready to open it quite yet, but we can flip it over and it gets saucy.
Ah, that's the back of the book. Turn the book over to have a look at the front cover. Open your book.
Alright, I'm gonna put the book down. And
You've made a start on this chapter, but there's more to do.
I'm gonna use my wand to open the book. Oh, okay.
Chapter 4.
That's for
Part
chapter
1.
select. So I need to actually open the book.
Chapter 4 beckons. Are you ready? This is the first page of the chapter. Pull up the text to read about what this chapter holds. In this chapter, we will learn spells which, used wisely... this chapter, we will learn spells which, used wisely, will give you an edge over other wizards. Keep your wand work sharp, and you'll soon pick up new skills, from stopping enemies in their tracks with a jinx to magically summoning objects.
Hey, isn't that the...
You'll have to be crafty as well as clever if you want to find the next conundrum and find out what makes good wizards into great ones.
I mean, that kind of looked like the Sorcerer's Stone there.
Interesting thing to collect. You've come a long way. Now's your chance to prove all your magical skill. Turn the page to begin. The Summoning Charm. An indispensable spell for any witch or wizard. We can learn about the charm here, or turn the page to learn to cast it.
I always like to go through everything they have here.
Let's get cracking with the Summoning Charm. The Summoning Charm is one of the oldest and one of the most useful you will ever learn. The charm allows wizards to bring objects zooming towards them with the wave of a wand.
Ah, Accio.
Most magical objects are now sold carrying anti-theft devices that will prevent them being summoned by any but their owner.
Wizard Lojack.
There you go.
Alright.
And we've got a story about the charm.
Yes, these are awesome.
You can turn the page to start learning the spell itself. Here we go. What tale about the Summoning Charm have we got in store? What do you feel like? Reading the story? Remember, you can always cancel the story anytime by holding circle. The summoning charm might seem a very straightforward spell, but its dangers were proven by a band of extremist anti-Muggle wizards, who announced in 1743 that they had declared war on Muggle ways and Muggle behavior. Calling themselves the Axionites, their stated aim was to live in a manner beyond the petty concerns of Muggles. Their leader was a wizard called Gideon Flatworthy, whom the Daily Prophet famously
Gideon
called...
Flatulent-worthy?
Less a wizard, more a stupid, lazy, walrus-like object who lies all day on a rather smelly cushion and expects people to admire him for it. Gideon Flatworthy decreed that the Axionites, as their name suggested, ought never to fetch, lift, or carry. For wizards are not like lowly muggles, beasts of burden, but nobler, finer, and higher beings.
Aha!
And that everything they required ought to be summoned by magic. Unfortunately, the Axionites ran into trouble almost immediately.
Summon chicken!
Refusing to do anything as mundane and energetic as visit Gringotts Bank, they swiftly ran out of money. Flatworthy did not believe in working and declared that the only dignified thing to do was to axio more.
Of course.
This he attempted to do by pointing his wand in the direction of a nearby goblin workshop. In one sense, his plan worked. Several exquisite pieces of goblin jewelry, as yet unfinished, so without anti-theft charms upon them, came soaring in through the windows of the Axionites' headquarters. The idiotic Flatworthy was still trying to fathom how he might sell his stolen treasures without leaving his cushion, when a horde of angry...
These are fun to always get wrong.
No, that's not the right word.
Of course it is. I tell you, don't piss off those gardeners.
Indeed, a horde of angry goblin goldsmiths arrived at the doorstep, armed with swords and baying for the Axionites' blood.
Oh, cool. Just to kind of show you, I mean, it's all tracking the book.
And re-established themselves in a dark basement. Aware that they were still being hunted down by fearsome goblins and growing both hungry and thirsty, Flatworthy attempted to summon both food
Accio cheese, Accio cake, Accio chicken.
Naturally, the sight of cakes and wine flying along the streets towards the Axionites' hideout immediately alerted their goblin pursuers to their whereabouts, and they were forced to... No, that's not how it goes.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yes, they disapparated again.
Don't kick the chicken.
This time to a remote cave in Pembrokeshire. By this time, most of the Axionites were becoming disillusioned by Flatworthy's leadership. And most of them decided that they would rather lower themselves to do some Muggle-like things, like shopping, working, and carrying groceries, rather than starve in a cave.
Imagine that.
Finally, Flatworthy found himself alone, lightheaded with hunger, cold and miserable, but still refusing to admit that he was wrong.
Ah, wizards, they're just like us.
What precisely led to his final foolish act. Most agree that he had probably become delirious through lack of food. Although some think that he was determined to die as he had lived. All we know is that on the 18th of September, 1743, Flatworthy attempted to summon himself
Oh,
an
jeez.
entire farm, complete with livestock, cozy cottage, and well-stocked larder. Naturally, the buildings would not shift.
Lardist.
But the furious farmer followed his flying cows to the
Yes.
cave on the hill.
Oh, it's just like the end to Earthworm Jim.
Still lying on his cushions, but crushed
Hold
to
on.
death beneath a pile of hay bales.
Alright. Who summoned the cat? Akiotiri.
A clear case of careful what you summon.
Yep. Careful what you summon. Did you learn your lesson,
You're
Tiri?
finished on this page.
Mm-hmm.
Let's learn how to cast the spell. Turn over.
Okay.
Right. Time to learn how to cast the summoning charm. You'd better move those books with your wand.
Okay. Don't stand on the book. Tiri. Well, fortunately, the camera is at a pretty high angle, so it can still kind of see the book. Accio. Ezio.
To summon an object, picture the object clearly in your mind and say Accio. Now you try the incantation nice and clearly. 3, 2, 1, go.
Accio.
Good. Let's now take a look at the spell's gesture. You're ready to learn the spell shape. Pull up the picture on the page.
Okay.
To summon an object, make a bump from right to left with your wand.
Okay.
Remember, it's from right to left, like a bump backwards. Imagine summoning something from
Tiri.
there to here. You try. All right. Now you need to draw the gesture again, this time from memory.
You got it.
Well remembered. That's it. With this spell, you point your wand at the item you wish to summon, then press the T button. Good job. Now let's put this spell into practice. Turn the page.
Yay, I got a trophy. Okay, turn the page.
Time to hone those summoning skills. Pull up the practice picture to get started. It's time to build up your summoning skills. Remember, as you cast the spell, concentrate your mind on the object you want to summon.
Okay. Ah, here we go.
Ah, this classroom is in a state. Ah, right, we've got a chessboard, but no pieces. Looks like you'll need to summon the chess pieces dotted around the classroom. Just aim your wand, then hold the T button to cast the spell.
Oh, okay.
Ah, the knight. That's it. One down, 2 pieces still to find.
Fortunately, they glow.
Well done. You're getting there. One piece left. Oh, the king.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. He looks king-like. I like that the tip of the wand is glowing the same color as the tip of the move controller. Checkmate.
Oh,
Accio Trophy.
There's more to read about this spell if you want. Pull up the note if you're in the mood, or you can just turn the page. Oh, look at that, another collectible.
Yay, collectibles.
Let's find out how you did. I am most impressed. 15 house points.
Yay! Yeah.
Oh, look, there's more to read about this spell. If you're as curious about it as I am, pull up the note with your wand. Or you can just turn the page.
No, I want to see
Time
everything.
to find out how well you did.
Oh, no.
You're on your
Where's
way
the
to real
no?
spell mastery. 15 house points.
Is that 15 more house points, or is it just
Miranda
the same
Goshawk's
15 as
left
before?
behind a little more information on this spell. If you'd like to read it, pull up the note, or you can just turn the page. Once you've mastered this charm, you have the ability to summon any object of which you have need. Providing, of course, that you respect the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy. Since no object should be summoned if
that
it
makes
is likely
sense.
to whiz under the nose of a muggle. The summoning charm is ineffective on most living creatures, and those that can be summoned are rarely worth summoning, such as flobberworms.
Oh, ew. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't think I'd want to summon one of those things.
That'll come in handy.
So you get these little trinkets that
Quite a display of summoning
go
skill.
in a
Well
collection.
Done. Turn the page and let's move on to another spell.
Turn the page. Excuse me, Teary. She's still kind of laying on the edge of the book.
The Severing Charm. You have to know what you're doing with this spell. Ready? It's up to you. Pull up the text to learn about this spell, or turn over to start learning to cast it. With the Severing Charm, cutting or tearing objects is a simple matter of wand control. The spell can be quite precise in skilled hands, and the Severing Charm is widely used in a variety of wizarding trades.
Like murder.
Useful as it is, this charm should be practiced with caution.
Yeah, no kidding.
A careless swipe of the wand can easily cause injury. Wise words as ever. Another story.
Yay, the stories.
Don't just turn the page if you want to start casting.
Alright.
Here we go. Ready to read a story about this spell?
Always.
The Severing Charm was created in the 15th century by wizarding seamstress Delphina Crimp, who created it as an easy and convenient way of cutting cloth and thread. Prior to the invention of this neat, precise spell, wizards were apt to burn or shred anything they wished to cut.
Hoops!
However, while Madame Crimp's invention benefited her work, it nearly cost her her life. Witches and wizards were subject to persecution in the 15th century, so Madame Crimp, who had become one of the most fashionable dressmakers in London, preferred to pretend that she had no magical powers. Unfortunately, the great beauty of her dresses and cloaks aroused considerable envy among other tailors, many of whom were convinced that she knew some secret that they did not. Even the ugliest. Oh my, what do you think is the answer?
Yes.
That's not the right word.
Dude, that is one sexy ass gorilla.
Yes,
I mean, look at what she was wearing.
women seemed to look beautiful in her clothes, and Delphina grew richer and more successful every day. A rival Muggle tailor by the name of Snickerton disgraced himself and applied for a post in Madame Crimp's shop. After several weeks, he could find no evidence of magic, except for the fact that there were no scissors in Madame Crimp's workroom. At last, by wrapping himself up in a bolt of velvet and keeping watch by night, he observed Madame Crimp cutting out an intricate pattern with the use of her... Whoa.
Yes.
Oh, that doesn't seem right.
It's always worth it getting the answer wrong first.
As if she was using her wand. The following day, Snickerton led a band of men to arrest the accused witch. Cornered at her shop, she was unable to explain why she owned no scissors. Snickerton insisted that her hands should be tightly bound to stop her cursing them all, and set about searching for the wand he swore he had seen her using. After several hours, however, he had found nothing suspicious, and his friends were starting to doubt him. At last, Madame Crimp asked whether she might at least be unbound to scratch her chin, on which there was a large wart. Unable to see...
Sure, why not?
Her foolish accusers agreed.
Accio wand.
The moment Madame Crimp touched
Ah,
it,
jeez.
it sprang out of her face, revealing itself as her concealed wand. She promptly disapparated along with... What would she take with her?
Yes.
I don't think so.
No, man, that'd be terribly effective.
Yes, she took a large bag of gold and was never seen in London again. However, from that moment onwards, Snickerton, the tailor, was unable to produce any item of clothing, no matter how securely he locked it up overnight, without finding it shredded to pieces every morning.
Nice.
Legend has it that he died insane, convinced that he was being followed everywhere by a giant
Snip, snip, snip!
invisible scissors.
Well, too late.
The lesson here being, never come between a skilled witch and her livelihood.
I need to,
Right, turn the page and let's see about casting the severing charm.
Alright.
A pile of leaves? What a mess. Just brush them away with your hands.
I'm trying.
Time to roll up your robe sleeves and brush this stuff off. No one ever became a great wizard without getting their hands dirty.
Come on. There we go. Oh, look at that. There's a hole in the book. Defindo. Alright.
The incantation for the severing charm is Defindo. Use it with care. Now you try the incantation. Nice and clearly. 3, 2, 1.
Defindo.
Good. Now let's move on to mastering the spell gesture. You're ready to learn the spell shape. Pull up the picture on the page. The severing charm requires a jagged cutting motion with the wand. Go up, then slash down and right, then up again. It's like a letter N. Good stuff. Can you trace the shape again from memory? A bit lost? Press the triangle button for a hint. That's it. With this spell, you can flick your wand to cut things.
Defindo.
Oh, an Abyssinian shrivel fig. Perfect for potioneers. Cut off some of those shoots, would you? Flick your wand to use Defindo. Well, that's it. Lovely. And that was the last one. Excellent. That'll come in handy. Another student scribble. Go on, let's see what it says. The severing charm requires a jagged cutting motion.
Yeah, I know.
Go up, then slash down and right, then up again. All right. Now you need to draw the gesture again, this time from memory. No, I don't think so. Once again.
Yeah, it is.
Good. That's it. With this spell, you can...
I guess I pulled up the wrong thing.
Another student scribble. Go on, let's see what it says. You need your wand to read the book. Press circle to stop casting them.
Oh, okay.
Hello there. A gnome. Right.
Hello, gnome.
Let's find out what our mystery scribbler's given you. Flick your wand at the gnome. The disillusionment charm. Interesting stuff.
Huh.
You've disillusioned him. What if he wanders off while he's invisible? Heaven knows what he'll get up to. Ah, we can track him from his dirty feet.
Dirty feet.
Our gnome's returning to normal. Didn't like the thought of an...
I don't think anyone does.
Finished here. Very well. Remember, you can pull up the scribble again if you like.
No thanks.
Right. That's Chapter 4, Part 1 done and dusted. Close the book to choose Chapter 4, Part 2, or to revisit another chapter.
So basically, there are only 12 pages in the book here. I'm gonna see if it... Oh, let's take a look down that hole again. But you can see it just goes on to 11 and 12 there.
Right. That's Chapter 4, Part 1 done and dusted. Close the book to choose Chapter 4, Part 2, or to revisit another chapter.
So I am going to close the book.
Right, that's the back of the book. Turn your book over to move.
I know it's the back of the book. You told me to close it, and that was the last page.
You're ready to move on. To get the chapter menu, just point your wand at that glow on the cover and pull the T button.
So there we go. That's Wonderbook, Book of Spells. I really do love this thing. If you can find it, and you've got the PlayStation camera, the PS3 camera, they're really cheap. They're like $5 everywhere I've looked. The expensive part now is the actual Move controller, because these are the same Move controllers that are used on the PS4 for PSVR.
Then press the T button to pick the next chapter.
So, fortunately, that means that they're, you know, out and about, and if you already have a PSVR, you're partway set. You just need to find this little bad boy and the game. Alright, so I am going to... It's right here. Switch over to another move game here. Please stand by.